All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Crown Council live stream. I am Stuart Anderson. It is August 27th. We're grateful to have you with us. We've got a couple great segments today to connect you to the community of the Crown Council, to keep you informed about what's going on, and to just share with you some great advice, some culture building advice, as well as to connect with some of our resource partners. So we're grateful to be with you today. First, I'm going to share just a short interview with Dr. Tara Harden. She's one of our doctors, our Crown Council doctors, who has an incredible story about coming to the annual event for the first time. We did this little interview to share with people who have never been. I want to share it with you. It's just a couple minutes long, so enjoy Dr. Tara Harden. Grateful for her and thankful that she would spend the time with me. If you haven't signed up for the annual event, we would love to have you with us. It's our goal to have everyone from the Crown Council, every office attend and be with us, as it is our big annual gathering of all the offices. So enjoy this interview with Tara. All right. Dr. Harden, would you talk just a little bit about, as an introduction, introduce yourself, your practice, where you are, and just a little bit about your journey through dentistry, how you got here?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to talk about my journey in dentistry. Well, people that know me, they know my name's Tara Harden. My dad is a dentist. My mom is a dental hygienist. I joke around that dentistry is in the blood for me. Um, I practice in Mason, Ohio. My dad started the practice 40 plus years ago, and he just had a passion for continuous learning. He actually met Steve Anderson back in the Walter Haley days, so
Oh, wow.
that goes way back. But yeah, I just passion for continuous learning, and I just became accredited with the AACD, and then I got my fellowship and met amazing friends through that, and formed a women's mastermind group called Lead, and we're meeting this October. We meet annually. So I love what I'm doing. I'm 26 years in, and I love it more now than I did ever before, and just want to continue doing great dentistry and great work for people.
I love
So
that. Maybe can you talk for just a minute about your philosophy of care? Maybe like your motto or your what drives you and your team. Uh, can you talk about that for a minute? Does that make sense, what I'm asking?
yeah, no, it does. My motto of care really is based on using the latest technology and techniques, to enhance our patients' quality of life through a confident smile. And we've become very health focused as well. I believe good health starts in your mouth. It's the where we begin to break down food and healthy eating and staying away from all these sugary things that affect our entire body has become a passion of mine, along with good skincare. And so, one of the things we've evolved, our practices evolved, as we were doing a lot of smiles and whitenings and different enhancements to the teeth. But then people started critiquing their skin on the big screen, and so now we're doing a lot of skincare, a lot of non-invasive, non-surgical. I say do as many non-surgical things that you can do before you decide to go down that road. But just using the latest technologies and techniques in dentistry and continuous learning. It's constantly changing. And one of the things I love about TOPS, and just whoever you align yourself with, is that finding a coach or a mentor is really important, and to continue supporting one another, because dentistry can be a lonely road, right?
It can be. I've heard that twice today, that there are just sometimes you feel like you're maybe making the decisions alone or even just standing alone when you said you guys stand for healthcare, not just teeth. That's not a philosophy that's adopted by the majority of dental practitioners. So it's fun to see Crown Council, the community, uh, come together with that philosophy that they are here to treat health and that they're at the forefront of treating health for patients. So I love it. Very good.
Yeah.
All right, so we saw each other in Salt Lake City. You came to the Crown Council annual event 2026. Um, kind of a fun journey. That's why I wanted to talk to you today is your just decision to come and maybe an opportunity to connect with those who've never been before or who are wondering, what is this? I just want to talk to you about maybe first of all, how did you make the decision to come to the Crown Council annual event?
Well, in my decision to come to the Crown Council event in 2026 was really um, based on a lot of the great friends that I have that are already in the organization. Charlie Cooper and I, and Deborah King and Dennis Wells. You align yourself with your people, and they've been going for years. And every year, they're like, "Are we going to see you at the Crown Council event?" It's like, "Oh, it's in January. It's so tough. Get out in January. I take 2 weeks off at Christmas." And I found, I think, a million excuses every year as to why I couldn't be there in January. And that is true. I do take 2 weeks off in December, which is unheard of for me. So, yeah. And then this year, I just, they just, it was just the continuous prodding, and I knew I needed to go. And I was talking to Pam and Steve, and they were like, "I can't believe you haven't been." And after going my first year, I can't believe I hadn't been. So it was honestly one of the best decisions I had ever made. I brought two people from my team, one of my hygienists who had just moved up here from Naples, Florida to practice in Cincinnati, Ohio, of all places. And she was just blown away by it, said, I've never been to a meeting like this before. And so it was fantastic. That's what we need in our industry, is people pushing us to do things that we make excuses for, and then they want us to be better and push us along the way. So yeah,
I
I'm
love it.
appreciative.
Very cool. So I'm sure you've attended a lot of CE, a lot of meetings. Can you talk about something from the event that maybe surprised you or you didn't expect when you came?
Yes, I've done a lot of continuing education events, and I was expecting, some dentistry, but really, it's really not a dental meeting. And being an ex college athlete and being around a group of people that push each other, it was just nice to be around friends and people that are like family, pushing each other to learn together, but learn about being better people, and hearing from the speakers that were truly inspiring of how they got where they are. And it was not without a lot of bumps in the road, and being able to relate to that in our day-to-day life. And dentistry is hard. There are a lot of bumps in the road, and hearing, wow, these people, their bumps were a lot worse than our bumps. But we always think we have it the worst. But yeah, it was just fantastic listening to all those people. And I certainly wasn't expecting the level of those speakers and
Mm,
all the people I was around. It's
nice.
amazing.
Very good. When you came home or when you reflect back on being at the annual event, was there a particular moment or speaker or experience where you thought this will keep me coming back, or this is I really got my fill here from this part of the annual event?
The annual event was so incredible that I wouldn't say there was one speaker that made me want to come back. I will be back. It was all of them together. But I do have to say that listening to John Carmichael and seeing that picture, and obviously dentists were big into imagery, and I'll never forget the picture and that he took of the eclipse, and how he got to take that picture, and just never giving up, and hearing the word no so many times of, "Oh, you're not going to get your picture," or being discouraged. And he just kept fighting for that image. And then it was amazing how, here it is, he's on a Southwest flight, and he gets the pilots to engage
Mhm.
in what he's about to do. And now they're making it their mission to make sure he succeeds. And I think that's what life is about, is getting people behind you, and them pushing you, and them supporting you, and saying, "Hey, we're going to help you get this picture, and we're going to turn the plane this many times so that
Hmm.
you get the image that you need. And so that image just stands out in my brain, and it's actually in my office, and we
Nice.
bought the picture. It's truly awesome. So
Nice. I love that. I know we bought some of those. We bought 10 of those posters that we gifted out to, just people in the Crown Council, even maybe guys that didn't come. And what it was hard to describe to them what it was.
yeah,
What being there was so fun to hear that story behind how he got the picture. So I agree. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole event. Very good.
yeah.
Um, Tara, anything when you went home where you were like, okay, we're gonna make this change, or I'm inspired to do this different, or looking back, you're like, okay, here's the goals we set. Was there anything like that that happened for you?
Yes, when we got back from the Crown Council event, one of the other speakers that really stood out in my mind, and I can't remember her name, so I apologize for that, but we talked about the kindness. She showed the kindness video and sharing
Yeah.
the kindness. And we all get busy at our jobs, and we think that we're busier than someone else, and we pawn things off on other people. And we really talked about the kindness advantage and sharing that with other people. And we got the cards and told our team. And it was they couldn't relate to what we had been through, but it definitely inspired us to try to pass it on to them. And we did show the video of
Hmm.
all the acts of kindness and how it really can change the course of someone's day. And
God.
so that we implemented that right away. And that was really, I think, just a exciting moment for all of us that came back and could get the team on board with, let's treat each other the right way. Let's start out this year, really focusing on one another. And then we can focus on the patients better when we treat each other right.
Nice.
So,
Well, that's a great goal. I love that. Very good. If you were to have an audience with somebody, if you had a Dr. Harden in front of you who's never been, uh, any words that you would say to them about attending the event or just making it happen to be at the annual event?
I, I would, if it was a Dr. Harden event, I would tell them, Dr. Harden, how could you not have come for all these years? You have truly missed out.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, I mean, I registered ahead of time for my team, and I had to come this year. I would say you're really missing out. It's the way to start your year out right.
Hmm.
Goal set. Bring your team, sit down with them. They're going to have amazing ideas. It was really nice to sit at a table with, Guy Lewis's hygienist and Guy, and get ideas from them. And, it will really help you plan your entire year out together, and set goals together. So yeah, I would recommend definitely go and bring all your people, and it'll be a great time. And I'll see you all
Well,
there.
I am so grateful. I
And it's
respect
in
you.
and it's in Nashville.
I know, and we're having a concert Thursday night. It's gonna be a
My
party. So,
That's right. That'll be great.
um, I respect you. I'm so grateful that you would, share these things about our meeting. We put a lot of time and love into it. So I'm grateful you would trust us and respect the meeting like you do. So thank you for being part of it. Um, Thanks for sharing. I'm grateful that you would share a bit. I know you had a busy day, so thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. And thank you guys for making the meeting what it is, because it's truly like such an elevated experience. And I know I can't even imagine how much work goes into that meeting. So I do appreciate you and Steve and the whole crew of what you put into it.
We're
It shows.
happy. We're
Yeah.
happy to. Um, it's funny how it's become part of like just our family. Like everything about us revolves around that meeting. It's kind of an interesting thing that's developed over the years is, during the holidays, it's always like, okay, here we go. We got 30 days till we're
Yeah.
having. So,
Absolutely.
we're great. We're grateful to do it. So thanks for trusting us. So,
Thanks.
all right.
Appreciate it.
Anything else? Was there anything else you wanted to share?
No, just I hope to see everyone there.
We're doing it. I can't
All
wait.
right. Take
Okay.
care.
Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Harden. Grateful to connect with you. Our next interview, the interview I did, is with Oryx. We're grateful for our resource partners. They are our solutions to all of the challenges that Crown Council offices are facing. So we're thankful for Oryx, thankful for their longtime membership with us as a resource partner. We're going to talk a little bit about cloud-based softwares, what that means, what they are, how they work, and then how Oryx fits into a cloud-based software program. So enjoy this interview with Oryx, and that's it. All right, hey everybody, welcome. We're grateful to have Katie Nelson with us from Oryx. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Stuart. Thanks for having me.
Very good. We already can see your screen. We're going to be talking about cloud-based software beyond the server. That is very exciting. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Before we do that, will you introduce yourself and Oryx for those that don't know you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Katie Nelson. I am a senior account executive with Oryx. I have been with the company for about 5 years, so about half of Oryx's life as a company, which is exciting. Prior to that, I was a dental hygienist, a practice manager, so have a lot of experience inside of dentistry. But beyond excited to be here with Oryx because what we're really trying to do is help practices grow, develop better systems so that they can provide better patient care.
Very good. And you were with us in Salt Lake at the annual
Yes,
event.
sure
Let's
was.
just reminisce for just a minute. Favorite part of being at the annual event? Was there anything that you remember that where you were like, that was awesome?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
maybe The Illusionist.
oh
That
yeah,
was
that was
wild,
crazy.
wild.
What do you remember any part specifically where you were like, that's ridiculous. That's
Yeah, when he was just pulling people from the audience who weren't even wanting to participate.
yeah.
And then, I mean, he was just spot on with everything.
I watched him rehearse and I was like, from the rehearsal to the real thing, I was like, it wasn't like he was at the rehearsal planting and doing things that would help him.
Yeah,
I was actually more flabbergasted having watched the rehearsal and then the real thing than, I mean,
really.
yeah, well, I assumed at the rehearsal he was going to be like, put something under that chair and that guy's got to sit right there. No,
Sure.
there was none of that. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dr. Cook too, when he got involved, he's one of our great customers. So that was enjoyable for me to watch him get pulled in for
oh,
sure.
that was so fun. Okay,
Yeah.
good memory, great memory, very good. I'll turn the time over to you. I'll interject anytime you need me, but otherwise, stage is yours. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Okay.
So I'm excited to be here. Today, what we really want to talk about is something bigger than Oryx. We will bring Oryx into the conversation, but there's a lot of questions out there about cloud software. So really want to talk about the technology underneath your practice and whether it's actually helping you operate the way a modern practice should. Most practices don't wake up one morning and decide that they have a technology problem. We know that doesn't really happen. Usually the software works, the team knows it, they're comfortable with it, they've used it for years. But working and working well, I would say, are two very different things.
Mm.
So today, what I want to address is to really look at what cloud software actually changes, why it matters to the entire team and your patients, and then I'll show you what that looks like inside of Oryx too. But before we talk about the cloud, I want everybody to think about the amount of work that your current technology stack creates. These are some typical problems that I would argue exist in almost every single dental practice in some form or another. Disconnected systems, we have your PMS here, your imaging is here, phones are here, payments are here, patient
Mm.
communication might be in another system. And that leads to administrative overload. So somebody in the practice has to make all of those things actually work together. And that really is limited visibility for everybody on the team. So a lot of practices don't know that there's a problem until one of those people in the offices points it out and notices that there's this issue. We also see a lot of patient first tools don't exist. And I think one of the things that we're seeing in dentistry is that patients are increasingly expecting the same convenience from their dental office that they get everywhere else. Those aren't Oryx problems, they're industry problems trying to keep dentistry up with the way that the world is operating. And so the question is, whether your technology is helping you solve them or whether your team is solving them despite the technology. And that really brings the bigger question, why does cloud matter in this conversation? So this is where I think the cloud conversation gets more interesting. Cloud isn't simply valuable because, hey, I can access my software from home or another computer while I'm on vacation. That's a great benefit, but the real opportunity is having the information and the workflows all connected. So with a cloud software like Oryx, you're going to have one database. All of your information lives here together. One patient record. The team's not constantly recreating the same information in different places. You don't have those disconnected workflows. The goal is for the software to move information through the practice instead of having people have to move it through the practice. So think about how much time in a dental office is spent transferring that information rather than actually doing something with the information. If your employers are constantly moving information between systems, that's not really automation. That's just digital busy work. So when we talk about a modern practice, I think there's 3 areas that we have to look at. The patient experience. What does the patient experience before, during, and after their appointment? Clinical excellence. Can the clinical team document effectively and have all of the information that they need in one place? And then the practice management. Can the business side of the practice operate efficiently? And can everyone actually see what's happening? The interesting part is that these aren't separate problems. They're really all connected. So we'll follow through the journey of a real patient experience as we go through this. Patients certainly don't think about your PMS. They do not care what kind of software you use. They care whether it's easy to schedule, whether they can communicate with you, whether they understand their bill, whether they're reminded about the appointment, and whether their experience feels convenient. And at the same time, your team is trying to manage all of that while running a clinical and financial side of the practice. And that's where technology either creates friction or removes it. So let's start before the patient ever sits in the chair. A modern patient journey should start before the appointment and continue after they leave. So we want Oryx to address scheduling and forms, reminders, communication, a portal where they can see their information, and payments. The important question isn't whether you have each of these features somewhere, it's whether they really all work together. So online scheduling is a really good example of where I'd like everybody to think beyond the feature. It's not just a convenience feature, it's about removing friction from getting a patient onto your schedule. How many phone calls does your team handle that could have been handled digitally? How many patients don't even call because it's inconvenient to call during business hours and then they forget about it until later? With Oryx, you're going to be able to have a link for your online scheduling. You can send this out to your patients in all of your recall reminders. You're going to have more patients on your schedule when they can see your availability and book directly on your calendar. I think most patients are like me. It's 8 o'clock at night. I finally sit down to relax, and then I start thinking about all of those things that I meant to do during my workday, and I just didn't have a chance to do. So I know I would appreciate it if I got a reminder that I need to schedule my next hygiene visit, and that booking link is right there in that text message. And that's what I'm talking about on removing the friction from the patient to the practice. Oryx has a patient portal too, and this is, very similar to medical. You can log into your MyChart whenever you need to and see your next appointment and see your notes from that visit, what kind of prescriptions are being sent to the pharmacy. If a patient can manage almost every other part of their life from their phone, why is dentistry any different? So the patient portal is really about giving the patient access to the information and communication they expect. The goal isn't to make your office more digital for the sake of being digital. It's to make it easier for the patient to interact with you. Fill out their forms, make payments, schedule appointments, refer back to treatment plans. That's the visibility that patients are looking for. Think about what happens in a traditional practice. Someone sends a form, the patient fills it out, somebody in the office reviews it, enters that information, and then, somebody realizes that there's a piece missing and the patient has to be contacted again. The opportunity with connected cloud workflows is to eliminate all of those handoffs. So Oryx has really interactive forms to get the patient engaged from the beginning. And really the point isn't the form itself. The problem is that patients don't always understand the importance of those answers, and the team doesn't always have time to refer back to it. So in a typical software, you're having to open up the medical history or the dental history during your exam to make sure you're not missing anything. We want those patient responses to follow the clinical team through the exam so nothing gets lost or forgotten. Oryx is bringing those responses into the clinical portion as alerts so that the providers can be assured to address the concerns appropriately and overall give that patient a better experience. Automated forms and reminders. This is one of those things that sounds incredibly simple, but think about how much staff time is tied up in an appointment confirmation and follow-up. Automation should take the repetitive work away from the team so that they're spending their time on things that needs an actual human interaction. So if someone on the dental team has to remember to send the reminder, get the consent form signed, print out the post-op instructions, that's not an automated workflow. Yes, you might have digital tools to do them, but it's not an automated workflow. So what if your software knew who needs medical histories updated, consent form signed, needs post-op instructions, or who has a balance and sends them statements? If that can happen automatically, it's creating a more consistent experience for your patient and freeing up your time in the office to not have to go print those papers and get those signatures and upload them back into the practice management software. So let's move behind the scenes now where all of the insurance work is done. That's where I think practices often underestimate the financial impact of disconnected technology. It can cost a lot of money to have all of these fragmented systems, but beyond that, it's slowing down your workflow. You know, a missed appointment, an eligibility issue, a claim that goes out without the right documentation, an outstanding balance that doesn't get followed up on. Each one seems really small, but then you multiply that across hundreds or thousands of patients, and those are real dollars. So let's look at what happens when the software starts doing some of that work for you. Insurance is probably one of the clearest examples of administrative work that has traditionally required a lot of manual effort. I know in the practice that I managed, we had a sole employee who just checked benefits and entered all of their insurance information and checked eligibility to make sure those patients still were active. You know, we don't want you to have a patient who's sitting in a back corner somewhere doing all of this. The goal here is always to know what you're dealing with before that patient gets into the chair and not after. So you're going to be able to immediately check eligibility and get a response right into your patient's account, review everything, see all of those percentages and maximums, deductibles and downgrades. All of this information is visible and we want you to be able to see it, but we don't want you to have to take and manually enter 50% and 80% and a downgrade on molars. Oryx can let you review it, click a button, and now everything is auto-filled. So just imagine how much time that saves from that employee who's sitting in the back corner. They might be able to come up and have some interaction with patients during the day because this isn't going to take so much time. And that's really a recurring theme today. Move the work earlier in the process, automate what doesn't require human judgment. And then take that a step further. Instead of asking someone to repeatedly find information, manually enter it, the system can bring information right into the workflow. So I'd like everybody to think, like, how many keystrokes does your team perform every day that don't create value for the patient? These are all necessary to get the information, but does that keystroke provide value to the patient? No, the information does. So wouldn't it be great to automate that process, free up your team's time for more valuable patient interaction? Here's another example of where connected systems matter. So the clinical team creates documentation and images, right? We've done our exam and taken our x-rays, and now the insurance team needs that documentation. A lot of times it's a really disconnected environment, so somebody has to make sure they get connected to submit that claim. When the systems are all connected, like in a cloud software, the workflow can do more of it automatically. So as Oryx is checking patients out, it's adding a claim all in the same motion. And then Oryx is smart enough to know who the insurance carrier is and what are their requirements for claims. And because everything lives in one place, Oryx is automatically adding attachments. So x-rays and photos and perio charts. And now nobody on the team is spending time copying and pasting onto a claim to get that submitted. And again, that's the difference between having digital information and having a digital workflow. Now we're on the other side of the claim and the payment comes back. Traditionally, someone has to review it, interpret it, manually post the response from the insurance company, and then maybe send out a statement to the patient. Again, we're looking at a repetitive process. It doesn't necessarily require somebody to manually perform every step. So with Oryx, you can get the response back into Oryx, so you're getting that digital EOB. It'll automatically be saved into the patient account for you, so you're not uploading anything, and it's reading the EOB for you. So again, we're giving you visibility. You can go through and watch this happen. but your team can review it, approve it with a click of a button, and automatically post that response. It'll make any adjustments for you and add that insurance payment that came back with it.
Nice.
You are not manually entering all of that information, so there's less risk of error and it's coming back faster. So the question isn't whether the billing team is capable of doing this manually. Of course they are. They've been doing it for years, but it's taken them time. Should they have to do all of that manually, or can we automate it? And then collections are another place where consistency matters. I know some offices are like, oh, I try to send statements out once a month, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's once every 6 or 7 weeks. And now the patients don't really know when to expect those bills. If follow-up depends entirely on someone to remember who needs to be contacted when, you're going to have inconsistency. So automation allows the practice to establish the process once and let the system execute it really, really consistently. So you can know that your patients now have a balance, and instead of just sending them one statement, they're getting it all automated. So they're getting consistently reminded until they pay that balance. Now, Oryx is automating your early stages of AR and your collection. Team doesn't have to do it. They're not running all of these reports and printing statements. Your patients are consistently getting reminded. And again, it's really the larger theme that we're seeing. We're not trying to replace the team. We still need humans working in the dental office. We all know that. We're trying to remove all of the repetitive work that makes them crazy every day, that, keeps them from doing higher value work. Every single person who works in dentistry does it because they want to take care of their patients. And that's what we're trying to give back, is more time with patients and less time doing manual entry. We really know that practice struggle with manual claims, billing errors, reactive scheduling, limited oversight. That's where revenue gets lost. So Oryx offers integrated billing, claims automation, huddle tools, and dashboards as solution. Revenue isn't just won when the patient accepts treatment. It's through all of the little operational decisions that go into it. And so we want to make sure that technology is helping to manage all of that. And then let's move into that third component, the clinical side. Technology shouldn't just make the business office more efficient. It should absolutely help the clinical team spend more time doing dentistry. That's why everybody's here. So this is what we start looking at charting, imaging, documentation, and AI for. And importantly, we're not talking about AI just because it's trendy. It certainly is. We're asking, where can it remove friction from the clinical workflow? Documentation is one of the biggest opportunities that we see. Nobody went into dentistry because they wanted to spend every night typing up their clinical notes. Absolutely not the worst. The goal is to really capture the information accurately throughout the exam, and then with a click of a button, have that burden of writing up your notes be done, because everything from that exam automatically gets transferred into the progress notes. I'm sure every single person watching this would have something better to do with maybe an extra 30 minutes after the day is over, rather than typing up notes. This is another great example of how technology can change a workflow. So perio charting. I am a former hygienist. I used to run around the office saying, who can help me perio chart? Is anybody free? Or I would sit there and have to do it myself. Both ways really could slow down my appointment. So instead of one person calling out numbers while the other one's entering them, our voice technology allows the clinician to keep their attention on the patient and do everything themselves. So I'll play just a quick video so that you can see the perio charting in action here.
Okay.
Can you hear it, Stuart?
Why don't you pause it, Katie?
Okay.
So, there's a button you have to click before you okay, so stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
I'll edit this out.
Okay.
Stop sharing your screen, and then go to share your screen again like you're going to share it.
Okay.
Say share my screen. And then there should be a tiny little checkbox that says share computer, like share sound. It says share sound over on the right side before you share your screen. You see it?
Maintain current size, scale to fit, choose individual windows.
Do you see a little box that says share options and then it says share sound?
Settings, maybe. Audio?
Audio, yeah, let's try that.
No, that's just for me, I think. I can do it without, if I can't figure this out. I can talk through it.
Are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC.
I mean, when I hit that little box that has the arrow in it and it says
Mhm.
share, it just pops up desktop
Oh,
one.
there it is.
Okay, then it's just to say.
Okay.
Okay, so now if that box clicked and you share your screen, that it should play the audio of the
Okay.
video. Okay.
Let's try it.
Okay.
You can see the perio chart on here.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. So I will share a little video of the perio chart in action.
Okay.
Start probing. 321, 425, 525, bleeding between 4 and 5. Jump to number 8, 521, 522. Start recession. 111.
So just a quick way to show you that it doesn't require a human. It's not going to make you do all of your probe depths first. You can jump around just like if you had an assistant in the room. So now that assistant is free to go work with the doctor, maybe get notes finished, start sterile, and the whole office is working together more seamlessly.
Nice.
Now, with the voice exam, this is where we're really starting to see AI move from a buzzword into an actual workflow tool. So our question has always been, where can we put AI? A little bit, yes, we want to make it accessible for offices, but the real question is, where is a clinician spending time on something that technology can assist with? Again, we're going to bring this back to notes and charting. So I'll show you a little example of how Oryx can chart and create your clinical note just by listening to you.
Let's begin by starting an AI note.
I'll start my exam. I have number 1, 16, 17, and 32 missing. There's cavitation on number 3, mesion. I have a crown on number 4.
So I'm just going to mute that. Our doctor is going through and doing an exam as she normally would, pretending the assistant is there, listing off existing findings and what she wants to treatment plan. And then Oryx is going to automatically create a summary for me. So now I have my note. It's all written into a clinical format that I can create my progress note immediately. And it has charted all of my exam findings on my odontogram for me. So this is amazing when maybe a dental assistant called out sick that day and the doctor is stressing on how can I do this by myself, but really, really impactful for practices when they want to, have a really great comprehensive note after a consultation, or even more importantly, after there's a large case and we're presenting a, variable treatment plan, different options, risks, what could happen, how much is this going to cost for a patient, having that recorded often doesn't happen. Often notes don't get completed on it. It's just like, oh yeah, I presented that treatment plan and the patient said yes or no. Now being able to go back and listen to the patient's questions in your software, being able to see that transcription anytime you want to go back and look for it is great. And it really can help the patient ask the right questions without the team feeling they need to rush through it so that they can get their notes done later. Imaging is another great example of connected workflows. They're not useful just because they're digital. They're useful when they're immediately available where the team needs to see them. So in Oryx, images are natively stored in the patient's chart. That means that they're visible as the clinical team is charting or writing up their notes on the same screen. And then, like we talked about, they're automatically attached to the claims. So again, we're eliminating the handoff from the clinical team to the insurance team. It's all done. At Oryx, we work with 2 different AI annotation partners for radiographs. So this is where connected technology can also support diagnosis and case presentation. The AI certainly isn't replacing the dentist. It's giving the dentist another layer of information to support the conversation, help the patients understand. This is an example of Pearl's second opinion. It's built directly into the Oryx platform, helping the patient see everything in color so they want to move forward with treatment before problems get bigger. And then Overjet gives us another example of how AI can be integrated directly into the clinical workflow rather than requiring the team to move into another platform to be able to see it. So really the broader question isn't Pearl versus Overjet. The point is that modern software should be able to bring useful technology directly into the workflows. I hear all the time that, oh, we tried using AI software, but my team didn't want to log into it separately. Bringing it directly into Oryx, we're seeing a greater adoption from the entire team, being able to use these tools from the assistants to the hygienists to the doctors, and then having it all submitted with their insurance claims.
Nice.
So let's just step back for a quick second before we're done. The problem isn't that dentists don't know how to document. The problem is that all of that documentation can consume a lot of time that should be spent with patients. We know that practices experience repetitive workflows, inconsistent documentation, disconnected treatment planning, limited clinical visibility. Oryx is bringing AI voice charting, treatment planning tools, and native imaging as those solutions. The technology should support the clinical outcome, not become another task inside of it. So what does that all look like when they're actually connected? That's the philosophy behind Oryx. Oryx is all-in-one, AI-powered, cloud-based, and it spans the patient experience, clinical excellence, and practice management. The value, I would certainly say, is not one individual feature that we offer. It's the value in what's happening when all of those features work together. And obviously, whenever anybody is talking about changing a system that their entire practice runs on, it's a big decision. And so you want to know that you're working with a company that has scale and experience. Oryx has been, for 2 years running, the #1 fastest growing PMS on the market from the Inc. 5000 list. We are supporting over 15,000 clinicians in over 2,000 practices across 5 continents. We've served over 7 million patients and processed over $5 billion in payments over the past 10 years. So it's been a really exciting time to be with Oryx, and can't wait to see where things continue to grow. We love being partnered with groups like the Crown Council as well, because there's so many like-minded doctors in this group that are really looking to do what's best for their teams and best for their patients.
Thanks, Katie. It's funny when we first became resource partners together. When you were our first resource partner, Oryx, when you signed the contract, we're like, hey, we're just a boutique software that we're really gonna hopefully make a difference in Crown County. And in the last like 2 or 3 years, it's been so fun to watch the amount of solutions that you guys have worked on that are so far beyond where we started. So this is so fun to meet with you. I love how enthusiastic you guys always are to help and provide solutions for the membership. So thank you. It was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Scan that QR code. That's the best system.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
That will bring you to my calendar link directly, and we'll talk, answer questions about what anybody saw today, or really dive into the software, figure out where offices are struggling and how we can help support.
Okay. I love it. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Oryx. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks.
Thanks, Stuart.
Okay, finally today we have a short clip, just a small piece of an interview that Steve and I did with Dr. Brett Titenzer, still the youngest qualified member, lifetime qualified member that the Crown Council has ever had. Dr. Brett shares his experience building a brand new practice, 15 operatories. He shares some of the things that he's learned in his journey in dentistry, learning from his father, how he got into dentistry, and specifically what he's doing to train his team and to build his practice. So enjoy this small piece of our interview with Brett. We're grateful that you'd be with us today on the live stream. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Mentor of the Month program. Stuart Anderson here, Steve Anderson in Dallas, and Dr. Brett Titenzer. Brett, welcome.
Happy to be here, Stuart.
Oh, man, that's a good phrase. I love it when people don't say, "Oh, no problem. I'm no problem."
Yeah.
Hey, so very good. We're planning on a fun hour together. This is our Mentor of the Month podcast, where we are going to hopefully draw from Brett your life story in an hour. We going to do it? Just pull it out.
Oh, we'd like 15 minutes. Let's go.
Hey,
these right off the bat, I'll say for all those who's listening, like, stick these out. These have been so helpful in my career, and not like tooting my own horn, but just like learning from real life experiences and dentists. I love what you guys do with this. And I remember back in the day when I get my CD-ROM. Does that still go out every?
Yes.
And
That was
like,
that
I
you
love
you would have
getting
been
those.
you would have been what, 9 years old when we were doing
Yeah, I didn't know it. I would use it as a frisbee. You guys, like, come on, no. I would put in my Walkman and put on my like over the ear headphones, and it helped a lot in jump starting my career. And what you guys have built with the Crown Council and this network of dentists is so valuable. And dentistry can be such an island, and getting into a good mentorship group like this is I almost pivotal. It's so key in a successful career. So anyway, it can help give back some of that you've already given me. So happy
Perfect.
to be
So
here.
we're gonna start, Brett, from the very beginning, and just to give everybody some context, there's a group of dentists in the Crown Council that I refer to as the giants, the young giants, and it comes from the phrase by Albert Einstein, who's credited with saying, "If I have seen further, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants." And Brett's one of those because Brett was raised in a dental home. So his dad, Steve Tittenser, is one of the finest clinicians that I have ever met. And Brett was raised on a steady diet from day one. And I'm sure, Brett, you
right out of the womb.
You were. I mean, you were listening to you were listening to this program before you ever went to dental school, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, and that's uniquely positioned you to do some things that I think otherwise you wouldn't be able to do. And I'll give you a quick snapshot, and then Brett, you tell us about those early days. But I've known Brett since almost infancy, long time. Brett was actually
don't share too much now, Steve. Careful. Yeah.
Brett was actually teaching in dental school when he was a dentist. And we'll talk about when he was a dental student, excuse me, he was actually instructing in dental school. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But take us back just so everybody's got context of where it started, what some of your early influences were, including your mom and your dad. And even before the whole formal dental education started, kind of what were some of the formative things that happened that pointed you in the direction that you've gone?
Oh man, you're right. This is going to take an hour, isn't it? I have so many cool opportunities in my life that has led me to be where I'm at. So many great mentors. Yes, of course, my dad. All right, being raised in a dental home, seeing what dentistry can be like I got to see the highs and the lows. I think they keep the lows hidden though from kids, and I've recognized that now. And we're in a different world where I think we're more open to the negatives and being open and honest about it. So like growing up, it was all like force fed. You got to be a dentist, Brett. Like from day one, from baby, like they indoctrinated me good. And I just, for me personally, it did make sense though. Like I couldn't see myself working a desk job. I love the sciences. I love art, and I loved the idea of helping people. And I saw my dad do that, and I just want to be a part of that. Some key pivotal moments. I am an Eagle Scout.
Yes, you are.
And, or my mom's an Eagle Scout.
That's more appropriate. Like, so true.
She's let's be honest. But for my Eagle Scout project, I was able to do a clothing and sock drive plus dental equipment, and we brought it down to a orphanage in Guadalajara, Mexico, where we performed dentistry for the kids there. We gave them the toys, the clothing. In fact, the number one thing they requested were socks.
Yeah,
they didn't have any socks, so we got a bunch of socks. And I remember that was my first dental humanitarian trip. That changed me big time. Like seeing the good you can do and benefit people's lives, and someone who's hurting and getting them out of pain, or just like the true love you can feel towards someone you don't even know when you're helping them in need. that's like, wow, such a cool thing we were part of in just healthcare in general. So that was pivotal. I will say my first perio breath patient knocked me out cold.
Wow.
Like, no joke. I was on the couch before I knew. So my first dental trip, like at 11, I passed out. So if you passed out in dental school or something, there's hope yet. Don't you worry. That's why I have hygienists now, right? Like they clean them up first before they get to me. So that was huge. And then, of course, being part of the Crown Council, you guys have such an amazing opportunity with your humanitarian trips. And so then I went on to go on a few more, one of which was Dominican Republic.
Yep.
And I can honestly say I probably wouldn't be a dentist today if it wasn't for that one.
Wow.
And
What happened?
it wasn't wasn't necessarily that changed me. Like the humanitarian trip was always great, but guess what was brought up in my dental school interview was that trip.
Really?
Oh man, like they thought that they spent my whole interview just talking about that trip.
Really? You've never shared this with me, so they wanted to know
No,
all
I haven't.
about it. And
Oh, they want to know about the who's this program? Tell me about the Crown Council. Tell me, like, wait, you got like 30 people to go down, and you're in like churches with no power. I don't know if I'd shared that I did my first extraction as a non-licensed high schooler in injections, down there. I think I kept that one to myself, but man, a huge big plus. We do have to do things to make us stand out. I know it's difficult to get into programs, so doing things like that, when it changes you, that's like, I think is most important, but it does things to build your resume, and it got me into dental school, like, no doubt.
Wow.
I strongly believe it. Yeah.
Great.
Brett, you went to Baylor before Baylor turned into Texas A&M, right? You're one of the last, right? Were you one of the last?
So I'm a they call it an Aggie bear or something like.
Okay, you're on
Aggie.
You're in the middle of the transition.
Yeah,
and those were interesting days when Texas A&M bought out the dental school from Baylor, but nobody wanted to change the name, and But your certificate actually says Baylor Dental School, right?
It says Texas A&M Baylor College of Dentistry.
You got both.
Wow.
So I got both.
That's going to be like worth bucks at some point. That'll one of the few that actually has that.
Loud and proud. Heck yeah.
Love that.
Hey, Brett, I want to hear just a little bit, if you can, about your dad. I think that I have seen this go both ways, as I'm sure you two have, which is a father as a dentist in the home can be a very negative thing on a young person being persuaded to pursue dentistry. Can you talk about his influence, or maybe a story or two about what you learned from him early on?
Yeah, I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to guess he's not going to listen to this. just knowing the kind of guy he is. I'm just kidding. Okay, Dad, if you're listening, I'm gonna be honest in some of the things I've learned, both the good and the bad. How about that?
That's good.
I will say, growing up in a dental household, I think my parents did a really good job at keeping us away from some of the drama that was happening. Like, now that I've been a business owner and running a dental practice myself, realizing some of the difficulties that come with that, and they went through some hard stuff. They got embezzled. They had an office manager who was a straight up con artist. And all this happened during the economic crisis of 2007. Yeah. And I'm just some high school student, just living it up, having no idea the hard work that my parents were putting in the background. And so looking back, I know how hard it was, and really appreciate that a lot more now that I've been a business owner myself. My dad, okay, here's some things I learned from him, both good and bad. Amazing clinician, okay? Like
For
Steve
sure.
said in the beginning, probably in the top 5 dentists as far as
Easy.
like their dental work that I know. And I've gotten to know a lot of dentists, like, and I truly mean that. Like, sorry, Dr. Hornberg. He's up there with you, dude.
He is.
But
Great clinician.
he was a CE junkie. All right. To this day, he still outdoes me in CEs every year. Like,
Does he?
he's still taking CEs as a retired dentist. It's amazing. Like, he was Coyce trained, Pankey, Dawson, you name it. He just loved dental education and that pursuit of perfection and delivering an amazing quality dental work to the patient. Gotta absolutely appreciate that and instilled that value in me. He's always said, if you're going to do something, you do it right. You be the best at it, or don't do it at all. Like,
Amen.
like dive in and really, like, even just how he taught me how to mow our lawn. I'd miss a couple patches.
Yep.
And I'd be like, Dad, it's okay. It's just going to grow back. Like, it's like, no, if you're going to do something, do it right. And he'd make me go back out there and mow that one patch I missed. And, it taught me. And I think it formed me into I got some of that in him in my dental work. And it's definitely helped make me a good dentist. 2, he was a perfectionist and he was really hard on his staff. Okay. Let's talk about that. My mom is almost the polar opposite. So you two probably know my mom. Like, talk about good cop, bad cop relationship. Like,
Amen to that. I always used to refer to him as Beauty and the Beast.
yeah, like, that's a good. I love it. It's so funny now that now my dad's retired, and now it's almost like swapped.
Has it
It's
really?
like I'm like more afraid of my mom now than my dad, but that's a story for another day. But he was intense. He was really hard on his staff. I think it's because he's a perfectionist, but it didn't create a good culture in the office. And my mom was constantly battling and trying to make up for that and pleading, and they would have to throw a lot of money towards people and just to get them to stay. And the cost was great when you have a bad culture.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned. And even when I was associate, like, I saw it firsthand. And one of the things that I really wanted to change on how, when I became the owner and how I wanted to practice dentistry.
Yeah.
I think if you can create a good culture where the team is first, not the patient. Like, my dad was always like, patient first, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter how, like, he'll treat his staff bad because patient's the most important. I almost find that, like, if you can put your team first, guess what? They'll take care of your patients.
Correct.
Like, in a way, and you're leading that out by example. And so I can say that we're not perfect. We definitely have our struggles, but we have changed the culture around at Titans Dental, and by putting the team first. And that's one of the bad lessons, but you can also learn from. And I'm sure he'll be the first to admit, and same with my mom. We all get our good and bad traits from our parents. And so I think I got a little bit of both from them. And I think it's something that you guys do really well, is teaching that team culture. And it'll save any dentists who are wondering, if here's your, like, you didn't ask for this plug. If you're wondering if there's value in things like TOPS and the Crown Council, I'm sitting in the result. All right. I'm sitting in our new office we're building, state-of-the-art, brand new 15 op place. And I truly believe it's because we've combined that really good quality dentistry, technology, and a good team culture that takes care of the patient and gives them this really special, unique experience. People really come to value that. In a time where dentistry is I think it's at a crossroads where, these corporations and dental and reimbursements from insurance is low, costs are high. It's really, what's the right word? Tempting to just try to drive costs down and go cheap, and there goes your quality, and you want to do just mass produce things just because you think that's what it takes to survive. But our practice is a living proof that I actually think the future is bright in dentistry. But you have to deliver a good experience. People will always value that. And you don't have to race to the bottom, like, for sure.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for the live stream today. We're grateful that you could be with us. We'll be back next week with more things that are happening in the Crown Council community. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.